Yeah, Mahesh sir. Hi. Good afternoon. Had lunch?
Not yet, ma'am. Going to after completing a TP.
Okay, okay.
What about you, ma'am?
I had
Okay,
curd
ma'am.
rice.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, all the best.
Thank you. Hope they get some information.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely.
I have presentation.
Good afternoon to all the participants here. We'll start the FDP in a short span of time.
Every member of a population. So can I go and ask like, are you a professional person? Are you a doctor? Are you in the age of 40 or 60? Like that, will I be asking a question? Definitely no. Simply we will be circulating the questions, right? That is why I said simple random sampling is not so easy to collect or obtain the data. It's difficult to identify every member of the population. So this is table of random numbers. You can see randomly I have given some numbers. So from this numbers from each line, that is what I said, equal proportion in sense from each line I have to pick some samples. So this is another random number table which I have given. Again here also from each column wise, each row wise I have to pick some samples. Okay. So every category need to be attained. So how to select simple random sample? Define the population as I have already discussed. Determine the desired sample size. So I want to collect at least 1,000 samples. So what I can do for collecting 1,000 samples nowadays, it is very easy to collect samples. No need to go and approach the customers or the respondents face to face. Simply we can put a link of monkey survey or any other online questionnaire. You can create it through Google form. You can circulate it to the respondents through whatever WhatsApp group you know. So you can easily able to get the sample in a large number. So list all members of the population or the potential subjects. So who all are your population? Like which all the categories you are taking the data. It should be purely based on the choice of topic. So, for example, fourth grade boys who have demonstrated problem behavior. So, in fourth grade, if suppose people are like the kids are doing some problems, especially boy kids. So, we need to demonstrate what are the problem behaviors. So, this will be my potential subject for this study. So let's select 10 boys from the list. So who are very notorious? I'm just going to select 10 boys from the list. So this is the imagine 30 students, boy students in my class. So I'm going to pick randomly 10 students. Now you could see all the red color are the notorious 10 students I have chosen randomly. So this is how we choose, we select and we determine the sample size based on the population. Now simple random sampling. So determine the sample size, obtain a list of all students studying in grade 10 Then student is the sampling unit here. Use a table of random numbers to select unit from the sampling frame. Then measure achievements in all students. Then estimate the level, the number of hours of the study. So systematic random sampling is a second technique which I am going to adopt in my sampling. So what is systematic random sampling? In fact, this is the easiest technique that I can say. So this technique, we need to use system to select sample. So in system, if you have record of all the students' name, then we can pick every 10th name or every 5th name. So there will be a system which we are going to follow. So there is a phone book, or say for example, this is an university, we have n number of students, like 1,000 students. So among this 1,000 students, I am going to provide some training, special training. I need to choose systematically some students. What I will do, I will take the name list of all the students, then I will pick every 10th student. Like that, systematically I will follow some rules, then it is called as systematic random sampling. So advantage, quick, efficient, save time and save energy. Then disadvantage, not entirely bias free. Suppose imagine if I like a student, I have favoritism towards my student, which where I don't have that. Even then, I'm just telling you for an example, then that student may be included in my training session. So that is why here they are telling that not entirely bias free in some circumstances, then each item does not have equal chance to be selected. See, you have returned some numbers, you have given numbers to some students randomly, not alphabetically arranged, or if it is alphabetically arranged, so everyone will not get the equal chance. So that is the greatest disadvantage here. Then system for selecting subjects may introduce systematic error. Sometimes choosing persons from system may also, there is possibility of getting the systematic error. Then cannot generalize beyond population actually sampled. Suppose I want to choose person from St.Joseph College of Arts and Science, some of the students I want to train from them, then I can't generalize that my scope of students are beyond my population levels, because my population is only the students who are studying in one particular university or college. So example I have given here, if a systematic sample of 500 students were to be carried out in a university with an enrolled population of 10,000, the sample interval would be, the interval will be like capital N, that is the entire population, divided by the N, the sample which I am going to choose. So 10,000 is my entire population, 500 is the sample which I am going to choose. Then 20 will be the number where in the 10,000 students list, every 20th student I will pick. Okay, like all student would be assigned sequential number. So what I will do for all the students, I will be given some numbers. Then based on the sequence of the number, I will be picking numbers. Suppose imagine I am choosing the first person as the 9th person. Then how my sample should be? So 9 plus 20 means 29. Then again 20 I will add. So 49 student. Like that I will pick. So I will show it here. So this is the name list for every student. I have given some number. Then I will choose. Suppose imagine I am choosing the 8th person. So who will be the next sample? Yes, it is right. It should be 28th person, because as per my logic, the logical rule says that in my total population, I will be choosing every 20th student. So it can be any basis. Not required that the 20 number has to be chosen. So what is the first number I have chosen? That is why it is called as systematic random sampling. Okay, not a systematic sampling, systematic random sampling. So my next sample will be the 40th person here. So like that it will go on up to 10,000. So stratified random sampling is a third technique which is coming under the probabilistic sampling methodology. So this is a technique where we divide the entire population into various strata. Strata means groups. We can say strata means group. So here randomly sample within each strata. So stratified means grouping. We need a strata. So based on age, gender, qualification, or income level. So we group them based on these particular variables. Then Sample from each strata should be proportionally chosen. So that is what referred as stratified random sampling. Advantage, better in achieving representatives on control variables. So I need to have a control over each strata. So that will be a greatest advantage in this method. So there are some disadvantages also, like difficult to pick appropriate strata. So grouping of data itself is a very difficult task. Then again, among that we have to identify every member in the population, because again the word random, it doesn't mean that I pick without any rules or regulation. So you can see how the strata has been done here. So what I have done, among the people who are working in a company, like patients, I have chosen the mild, moderate, and severe. So suppose imagine in a hospital, the people who are having hypertension, I have grouped them into three different category, the patients. So who are having mild hypertension, moderate hypertension, and severe hypertension. So these three groups were referred as three different stratas. So from each group, I will be picking some sample based on age, income level, or educational qualification level, or based on the diseases what do they have. So this is with referred to stratified random sampling technique. So here I am going to discuss about the how we can group the people. Like say for example, I have given a continuous grouping here, like 11 to 13, then 14 to 16, 17 to 19. So this is like age group. Then we can obtain some data from this particular range from each school. I will pick few kids, children's, like 6 samples each from each group. Then I will measure their dietary intake if my topic is related to dietary intake of the adolescent students. Now, fourth sampling technique will be cluster or area sampling technique. So, how is it done? Again, I am going to cluster, select group. Then this group are having some subjects information like appropriate when you can't obtain a list of the members of the population, like mild, like that you can't have the list. Then have little knowledge. As I told you, I am dividing it to north, south, east, west, and central part. Among that, I am going to focus on central and south Chennai. So this is how I choose cluster sampling technique, and I will study in my research work. Even in your research paper, you can use cluster sampling technique, but you need to explain that in a very clear manner. So this is advantage, more practical, less costly, because we are going to focus very less people and we go and directly approach the people. Conclusion should be stated in terms of cluster. So you have to conclude like, with the help of cluster sampling, I have obtained this particular data. Like in cluster sampling, I have chosen this school which is coming under the locality of Padur. Then my sampling unit will be like Hindustan University, like that. Like Hindustan School of Management is my sampling unit. Like that, I can make my conclusion. Sample size, the number of clusters. So how many clusters are there? How many groups or status are there? So sampling methods, probability we have discussed. So multi-stage random sampling is the latest technique which have been included in probability sampling methodology. So in multi-stage random sampling, you can have various stages like in summer, winter, like that. Based on that, you can go in for sampling collection. So this is non-probability sampling method. So first method is quota sampling. Now even in admissions of colleges, we have some reservation for ST students, BC students, forward caste students, like that. So this is a quota which have been reserved so that the all category of caste students can come and join the course. Convenient sampling, this is the most used sampling method in the research papers. So based on the respondent convenience, based on the researcher convenience, we can obtain the sample. Then purposive sampling is like for specific purpose we collect sample. Suppose imagine my study is based on the problems faced by women entrepreneurs in Chennai city. Then My sampling will be very purposive. I can't go and obtain the data from men. So what is my purposive sampling? Who will be my sampling unit? Only women, that too women entrepreneurs. So I have to be very, very specific when I am choosing purposive sampling methodology. What is snowball sampling technique? It's very, very easy method to collect large number of samples. Suppose imagine you want 1,000, 2,000 students data or 5,000 students data, then I will prefer to choose snowball sampling. Now, what is snowball sampling? You all know snowball. Suppose imagine I am in a snow mountain or a snowy place like Manali and all. What I do, I take one small snowball from the top. I am throwing the snowball to the down. What will happen when the snowball rolls and rolls? It will become a very big ball. So same strategy I am going to adopt in my research. So here, what I do, I will pick one student who is very famous in my class. So that one student will pick 5 more students. That 5 more students should have a good rapport in the class. So they will they will collect data from another 555, and those 5 will collect from another 555. Like that, I will have a very big tree in collecting the sample. Then finally, I will collect large number of sample. Then consecutive sampling. So like frequently, I will collect sampling in a month. Suppose imagine in the case of illness and all like scientific research, we use consecutive sampling where first month I have to do sugar testing, then second month I will do, third month I will frequently I will be doing continuously and building the level of the patient. So these are some of the methods of sampling. So that I have explained here. We are running short of time, so I'm just skipping the slides, but I have explained everything. So consecutive sampling, explicitly they will take and they'll do testings of few samples. Now there is a question arises in our mind again. So which sampling technique I need to adopt? Which method I need to adopt? Whether I should go for probability sampling or non-probability sampling. This should be purely based on the box which I have given here. First thing, the nature of your research. So what type of research you are going to do. Whether you are going to do analytic research or empirical research, or you are going to do descriptive research or scientific research. So choose based on your nature. Then relative magnitude sampling versus population variability. So how much your population, the homogeneous group. I am not talking the heterogeneous. Homogeneous means very big, the entire population. So who all are my target people, target population? I need to focus on that. Then I will go for statistical consideration. So what statistical tools I am going to adopt based on that also I need to obtain some samples. Say for example, if I have to apply independent sample t-test, then definitely my sample size should be minimum 30. If it is less than 30, I will not be able to apply independent sample t-test. Then sophistication needed, like what are the facilities needed? I need a laptop, I need some softwares like SPSS, JAS, like that latest softwares I need to upload in my PC. Then time, what time period I am doing my study and what is the budget, like whether I have sufficient budget to print the questionnaire and circulate them and collect the data or not. So all these things have some favorableness, some unfavorableness. It may be high or low. It has less number of error or large number of error. It's an exploratory or it's an conclusive. So whatever it is, it's purely based on the choice of your topic. You are going to obtain the sample. So this is like 17 general practice group. Random sampling method I am going to adopt. 7 members I have selected. Out of 7, the 7 members were picked out of like people from the age group of 65 or older in it. Again, they should be having total 750 to 850 in each general practitioners. So like this, eligible persons like who are coming under one particular group of people, then 1/3 in each practices were selected to form survey sample. So this is how the sampling procedure will be adopted, like determining the sample size, who are my population, and what range I am going to pick, which category, which strata, and how I am going to obtain the data through survey method. So like this, we need to confine our sampling. So this is with related to sampling. To conclude about sampling, for any research based on its study design and objective, an appropriate random sampling technique should be used so as to generalize the findings. So we need to come to a conclusion like what is my finding in that particular perspective. I will tell that what sample I have adopted, what methodology, from what methodology, and how I have used. Hope I have answered your question. So at the beginning of the session, I asked the question on myself on behalf of you all that what should be my sample or what technique I should adopt. So it's purely based on your choice of topic, then purely based on the population, total population. Okay. So hope I have answered. Now coming to the second topic, hypothesis. Hypothesis is singular, hypotheses are plural. These are assumptions. Hypothesis means these are assumptions. So my assumptions may be a tentative or postulate by the researcher of what the researcher consider the outcome of an investigation will be. So it is an informed, educated guess. We are making some guess based on our knowledge, our understanding about the topic, and we are going to test the knowledge whether my assumption is right or wrong, or whether the population can be well defined or well answered, or whether there is an answer to the problem in a properly stated manner or not. So that is what referred as hypothesis or hypothesis. So what is hypothesis? A tentative statement about a population parameter that might be true or wrong. So I want to confirm whether my assumption is true or wrong. Suppose, say for example, I want to have a tentative statement like out of this particular crowd, a huge number of nearing to 1,000 people are in this particular program. So in this 1,000 number of group, all are attentive to what I am saying. So if you are attentive, you can again click your hand button. Let me see how many are attentive. You can give a thumbs up for me or the hand symbol in Google Meet. So how many are going to give me a thumbs up? Is my class is interesting? Give me a hand symbol like raising a question. I am also available in this class. Click the hand symbol, please. So few have raised their hand symbols. So that indicates that I have an assumption that people are all are attentive, and it may be a true statement. Okay, that we are going to see in another example. So there are difference between an hypothesis and a problem. Hypothesis is just an assumption, but problem statement is what exactly happened will be a problem statement. So that is what given here. Problem can be in a form of a question, but hypothesis statement will be in the form of a statement which is derived from the problem. So what is the problem? Based on the problem only, the hypothesis will be done to test the existing theory and your knowledge. So what is when an hypothesis is formulated? When hypothesis is formulated after the problem has been stated and the literature study has been concluded. After you complete your literature study, then only you can frame the hypothesis. Because why we do literature review? We collect 20 number of literatures or 100 number of literatures. From the literature, we get different perspective or different information about what all the different problems are there dealing with my topic. Okay, so it is formulated when the researcher is totally aware of the theoretical and empirical background to the problem. So what is the problem? Suppose imagine I am having a headache. So suppose I am having a headache. So this is a problem which need to be defined. So what all the ways I can remove my headache? So say for example, I can consume a coffee, I can take a nap, I can go to the doctor, I can take a pill, I can apply an ointment. So these are some of the ways the problem will be sorted out. Similarly, in hypothesis also, if there is a problem, I am going to write a statement that, and I am going to test whether the statement is right or wrong. So purpose and function of hypothesis is it offers an explanation for the relationship between those variables that can be empirically tested. So it has to be tested. If I write an assumption, that will not be a conclusion for my research. I have to do certain test. Okay. So how I am going to test, I will explain you. So these are some of the types of hypothesis. Descriptive hypothesis. I have given a statement here. Just for an example, the rate of unemployment among arts graduate is higher than that of commerce graduate. This is an assumption. So for this, what I will do, I need to make a study. I need to collect data among the group of people, or I need to collect the data from a company, from the HR, that among the people who are graduated and who are employed in the company, how many are graduates from commerce background or from arts background. Like that, I need to categorize, I need to collect the data, I apply some statistical tool, and then I will confirm that whether my hypothesis is true or false. Then second type of hypothesis will be relational hypothesis. Suppose I am adopting correlation in my study, correlation as a statistical tool, then I will be doing relational hypothesis. Relational hypothesis, so here I have given an example. Families with higher income spend more for recreation. So whether the family at lower income, they are not going for recreation, that is the question which is arising out. Again, I need to obtain data from people with higher income and lower income group. Then I need to find out how many of them are going for recreation and how many of them are not going for recreation. And I can apply correlation test here. I will confirm the data along with the results. Then I will prove that the families with any income or lower income can also go for recreation. Like that, I will confirm. I will reject this particular hypothesis. Then causal hypothesis. So this is like we say like cause and effect analysis, similar type. Here first variables are called as independent variables, then later the another variable is called as dependent variable. I will give you an example for this in the next slide. Then working hypothesis. So while preparing the study of a problem, like in your study, from your literature review, you identified certain problems and you want to study that particular problem, then it is called as working hypothesis. Null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. So when the hypothesis is framed, after the statement, I will write a null hypothesis. Normally, null hypothesis is a negative statement where a word no will be added. Alternative hypothesis is a positive statement where without the no will be there. Suppose say for example here, when I say there is a relationship between a family income and expenditure on recreation, then it is referred as alternative hypothesis. But if suppose null hypothesis says there is no relationship between family income level and expenditures on recreation. Number 6, statistical hypothesis. So here based on the statistical population, we derive the statement using some numerical measures. Like group A is older than group B. Then this is referred as statistical hypothesis. So common sense hypothesis will also be there. Like example, shop assistants in small shop lack motivation. So this is common sense question. Small shop, only they will be motivated less. Bigger shop, all the employees will be motivated. Complex hypothesis, like difficult hypothesis, example, in the early stage human ecology described empirical unformalities in the distribution of land, values, industrial concentration, type of business and other phenomena. Now imagine this is such a lengthy line where it is very difficult to frame this particular type of hypothesis and test in the market. Then again, analytical hypothesis, Based on some analysis, analytical value, variables, the hypothesis will be framed. Example, a study of human fertility might show up empirical regulations by wealth, education, region, and religion. So see, this is very, very specific. We can obtain analytical data very, very easily from each category wise. So, on the whole, the characteristics of a good hypothesis were conceptual clarity, specificity, testability, availability, theoretical relevance, consistency, objectivity, and simplicity. Source of hypothesis, first you have to read sufficient theory, do some observation, then analogies, intuition and personal experience also matters when we frame the hypothesis. Findings of studies like which we are getting from literature review, state of knowledge, your level of knowledge, culture and continuity of the research. So these are the various sources which will help us to frame a good hypothesis statement, hypothetical statement. Now this is what I'm going to discuss here. Deductive approach. In research approach, we are having two types of approach. One is inductive and another one is deductive. So whoever is going to choose deductive approach, you will be using hypothesis. So whenever we are framing out some hypothesis, definitely you are using deductive approach in your research study. So here I have given one hypothesis statement. Apple a day keeps the doctor away. Okay, this is a simple statement. This is my assumption. If we eat apple daily, we need not go to the doctor. So what is my null hypothesis? So the second statement which I am preparing will be null hypothesis. There is no significant difference between eating apple daily and going to doctor. So there is no relationship. So even if I am not eating apple, I may go to doctor. This is what I am saying in null hypothesis. So what is alternative hypothesis? It says that there is relationship between eating apple and going to doctor. So I will say that if we eat apple, no need to go to doctor. Like that I am confirmed. So what I will do, so these two statements, either one of the statements should be right and another statement should be wrong. So what I will do, I will collect data. How I will collect data? I will categorize. So imagine I have 20 as my N sample population. In this 20 numbers, 10 people I will choose, another cluster will be another 10 people. So out of this first 10 people, for 10 days, I will give apple every day in front of me. I will make them to eat. I will lock them in a room. Another 10 people I am locking in a room. I am not giving even a single piece of apple. At the end of the 10th day, what I am doing, I am making a report, I am maintaining a report that how many people, the people who ate the apple, went to doctor, not going to doctor. Two data I got. So another group who didn't eat apple the 10 days. So in that, how many people have gone to doctor, who have not gone to doctor. Now again another two data I have got. Totally I got four data. So with this four observed values, I can apply chi-square test analysis here. So I have given the formula here. O minus E the whole square divided by E will be the formula for computing chi-square. Manually also you can do even if you are not having SPSS software. So you calculate the value, then you compute degree of freedom. The rule for degree of freedom computation will be number of rows minus 1, the number of column minus 1, that should be equal to 0. So if it is 1, 2, like that, values will come based on the data or the table which you have created. So after the computation with the degree of freedom value, you will go to the chi-square table value, you take the table value. Now finally, to interpret the results, one value is calculated value from the chi-square table which you have computed. The another value is table value which I have referred here as TV. So you have two values. You will confirm the results of your hypothesis based on the table value. Suppose imagine your calculated value is lesser than table value, you reject the hypothesis. If your calculated value is higher than your table value, you accept the hypothesis. This reject the hypothesis means null hypothesis is rejected. That means alternative hypothesis accepted. That there is difference between eating apple daily and going to doctor. Like that, I will confirm my result. So this is what referred as hypothesis testing. Hope you might have understood what I have told. So that is the end of my presentation. So over to the organizers now.
Thank you, ma'am. Now this is the question and answer session. Anybody has got any queries, you can ask ma'am directly or you can post it in the comment box. I will moderate the question. Any questions, dear participants? Okay, in that case, thank you, ma'am. My heartfelt thanks goes to Dr. Nasrin Sulthana for spending a valuable time with us and also for enlightening us through the session. My thanks also goes to the participants for making the session happen today. So thank you
What is
everyone.
the sample size formula? Somebody is asking,
Okay,
right?
ma'am. What's a sample size formula from
So I
Indian
have
population?
showed you a screen where you have total population divided by your determined sample. So what, like if suppose you are choosing systematic sample, you have a formula. But other than that, you can refer to any research methodology book and you can use some formulas there. Like what is my explanation is that what technique you are choosing, based on that you choose the formula. Okay. Can we see this session in offline?
Ma'am, Bhavani ma'am, it is being live streamed in YouTube and the link has also been shared. So you can, yes, you can see the session in offline also. And Gayatri
So
ma'am,
actually, you can send the questions to the organizers. Right now, I have a class, so I would like to end my session. Thank you for all your active participation. Once again, I thank the organizers like HOD ma'am, Mahesh sir, principal sir for giving this golden opportunity to interact and share my views about sampling and hypothesis testing. You can also text me in personally. You can take my number from the organizers. Uh, like 7305 375 208 is my number, and my name is Dr. Nasreen. You can WhatsApp me. So whenever I am free, I will just check and I will try to answer your queries. Okay. So hope
thank you.
so. I have uh, given
Thank you
enough.
ma'am, thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Bye. Bye bye.
Bye ma'am. Dear participants, the feedback form link has been posted. And also a request, can everybody unmute your video for a screenshot pic? Please unmute your
Thank you,
video.
ma'am. Can I leave now?
Just 1 second, we're just taking a picture of the
Okay.
session. Participants, please unmute your video.
Thank you,
Thank
Salman,
you, thank
for
you.
commenting.
You, Nasrin.
Excellent. Yes.
Okay, thank you, dear participants. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Nazrin, ma'am, for joining us today. Bye,
Bye.
ma'am.
Bye bye. See you.
See you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am. Thank you.
Dear participants, please fill up the feedback form for the e-certificate, which is being provided, which will be provided the last day of the session. The feedback link is being posted in the comment box. So participants, please fill the feedback link. And those who have filled the feedback form can leave the session for the day. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Chris.